to know in Masters the lanes are rest. Left lane on a pair is long, right lane is short. And for the one game, the bonus is 20 pins. Ladies, whenever the visitors are there for you, you can start. Normal play, quick play, wins. Good luck.
Approaching the noon hour here in Abu Dhabi as we start our second round of Masters competition at the 2015 World Bowling Women's Championships. I'm Lucas Wiseman. Thanks for joining us. Only 8 players left in the race for the Masters medals and 7 games to go here in Masters match play. They've already bowled 30 games. By the end of this block, they will have bowled 37 games with 20 bonus pins for a win and 10 for a tie. So now we get into the match play. So each game has significance for the winners and losers. And as you can see, we start off with Liz Johnson against Danielle McEwen of the USA and Shen Ung and Sherry Tan of Singapore taking on each other. Also advancing and bowling against each other right now, Sun Hai-rin of Korea and Yun Eun-hee of Korea are bowling each other. And the other match is Korea's Jung Da-woon versus Latvia's Diana Zafialova. So you may wonder why the countries are bowling each other in the first game. That's intentional to prevent any sort of issues later on. Battle round coming up. Perfect start for both Team USA players. Liz Johnson sends the messenger across for the strike for the front four. You can find the standings and the live scoring at 2015 WWC.worldbowling.org. So, perfect start for Liz Johnson and Danielle McEwen as they are both striking along here in this opening game. Front 6 for Liz, front 5 for Danielle. Results coming into this round, Liz Johnson leading by 20 pins over Shayna Ung. Sherry Tan and Yun Un-hee tied for third. Danielle McEwen in fifth. 70 pins separating first from fifth. Diana Zaviolova is the last one to get in, and she trails first place by 202 pins. So really, when you look at it, any of the bowlers who have made it into this round still have a chance to make the medal round if they can bowl really well. The two who are 7th and 8th, Sun Hai-rin and Diana Zaviolova, would need to put up some pretty big numbers here in these 7 games, but it's definitely possible for them to get there, especially with 7 games and 20 bonus pins for each win. Front 7 for Liz. We've seen this before. In fact, it happened yesterday on this very pair. Liz Johnson shot 300 to win the gold medal for Team USA in the team event last night. 4-9 split for Shayna Ung in the 7th. Liz Johnson already here in game one looking to put a little distance between herself and the rest of the field, starting with the front 8. Sherry Tan with the spare. She's down by 10 against her teammate Shayna Ung. And Danielle McEwen down big here against her teammate Liz Johnson. Jung Da-eun leads Diana Zavialova by 10 with 3 frames to go. And Sun Hai-rin is ahead by a big margin against her teammate Jun Eun-hee. Now front 9 for Liz Johnson. She's cruising along here. Well, it looks like our friends at Abu Dhabi Sports TV are on the air now. Let's see if we can take a look at their feed. There we go. Look at Danielle McEwen. Hi, everybody. See me in the background there behind Pekka. So, will Liz Johnson get another 300 game? Looks good. Gets the 10 out. Front 10 for Liz Johnson. You can see our bowlers are all bunched up next to each other. Lanes 5 through 12 in use for match play this afternoon here in Abu Dhabi. Danielle McEwen, bowling a good game, but getting run over by her teammate. Danielle can strike out for 248. right, Liz Johnson, front 10. There's another one, 11 in a row for Liz Johnson. See the scoreboard. Liz Johnson, 11 strikes in a row to start. And don't forget, this is on dual patterns. Left lane long, right lane short. Double in the 10th for Danielle. All right, so here we go. Liz Johnson bowled a 300 last night in the team event. Looking to bowl another one here in the Masters, and Liz Johnson with her second 300 of the tournament. Congratulations again to Liz Johnson. A 300 on the dual patterns, left lane long, right lane short. What another great accomplishment for Liz Johnson as she leads the way here in the Masters competition. Another great game for LJ. She is just on fire this week. .300 to 248. Liz Johnson defeats Danielle McEwen in our opening match here in the Masters competition. Players switching lanes to get started with game 2. All right, so game 2 underway here after an exciting first game where Liz Johnson bowled a perfect game. We're just following along with the coverage of Abu Dhabi Sports TV this morning, or this afternoon, I should say, and showing you what they show, as we only have 8 players left in the tournament. There's Liz Johnson. Liz taking on Sherry Tan, and a double to start this game for Liz. So she's perfect for the day. Oh, and Liz Johnson's run of strikes comes to an end. Well, almost with a 4-9 split. Leaves the 4-pin. $14 in a row to start the block. That's pretty solid, though. And she's going to have a pretty decent lead when the updated standings come out, and it looks like they are out right now. Liz Johnson now in the lead by 117 pins over Shayna Ung of Singapore. Danielle McEwen is alone in 3rd place now. And Jung Da-woon of Korea has moved up to 4th. Yeon Eun-hee of Korea drops out of the top 4 and is now in 5th place. Sherry Tan is 6th. Sun Hai-rin 7th. And Diana Zaviolova is in 8th. Live inside the Khalifa International Bowling Center, there's head coach Rod Ross for Team USA, Danielle McEwen. Currently in 3rd place is Danielle. Top 4 at the end of this block will advance into the medal round later this afternoon. All the breaks going Liz's way. Double spare, double to start game 2 for her. And Danielle McEwen, spare double to start. Well, game 2 moving along, and it's been a good round so far for Team USA. It's Danielle McEwen and Liz Johnson are both off to good starts here within the top 4. Yun Eun Hee, we talked about her a minute ago, how she dropped to 5th. Well, she started this game with the front 6, just made a spare. So look at the standings. You can find them on the official website of the tournament if you'd like to check those out yourself. 2015 wwc.worldbowling.org. Liz Johnson continuing to plow away here and outdistance herself from the field. Another strike. 6 out of 7 this game, 18 of 19 to start the day for Liz Johnson. Start this block, I should say. Danielle McEwen, she leads by 26 against Shayna Ung. 25-pin lead for Danielle McEwen against Shayna Ung. And Liz Johnson with a huge lead on Sherry Tan. Sherry struggling a bit. Looks like Abu Dhabi Sports TV is really focusing on Team USA this game. And our thanks to the folks at Abu Dhabi Sports TV for letting us use their feed. We've got all the professional grade cameras set up with cameramen. Makes it look very nice on live streaming. No stopping Liz right now. So look at the scoreboard. I think the folks at Abu Dhabi Sports TV realize that something special is brewing here for her. Is she could potentially go 300, 279 first two games of this block. Liz up by 66 against Sherry Tan with a couple frames to go. Liz double, spare, 5-bagger to start this game after shooting 300 in game one. Another great shot. (20 of 21 today in this round for Liz Johnson. And remember, this is on dual pattern. This is not the same pattern on each lane. The left lane is the long pattern, the right lane is the short pattern, making her accomplishments this afternoon even more impressive if they weren't already. McEwen, double for her heading into the 10th frame. She leads Shayna Ung by 15 pins. And Liz, just another day at the office for her. She doesn't look too nervous or worked up, just making good shots. Diana Zaviolova up by 23 on Sun Hai Rin. As McEwen strikes again to lock up the win here this game with good count. So look at our standings. Top four advance, that's why they're in red. Here's Liz Johnson. Guess what? Another strike. 21 of 22 for Liz Johnson. And look at her teammate, Danielle McEwen, going at 247 this game with the win. Liz Johnson is going to be able to just kind of coast her way into the medal round at this rate. She was already 192 pins within the cut. And this game, that number is going to increase even more. As we are watching something special here this afternoon for Liz Johnson. Another strike. 279 if she strikes on the fill ball. And an easy win against Sherry Tan. Shayna Ung, Singapore, all events gold medalist. Shayna going to be at 232 this game, but not enough to win the game. As Danielle McEwen shoots 247 and takes the 20 bonus pins. Liz Johnson left a 10-pin on her final shot of the game for 278. So 300, 278 for Liz Johnson. 578 for 2. Plus 40 bonus pins. Plus 218 for 2 games if you include the bonus pins. The 3-game individual record in the World Bowling Women's Championships is 806, set by Shayna Ung in 2011. Liz Johnson with a very, very good opportunity to beat that. Liz already at 578 for 2. Just need 229 to beat that record. Liz Johnson moves over to 9 and 10 this game. She bowls Shayna Ung. And guess what? Starts with a strike. Should have updated standings here. Just a second. Looks like they're about to be updated on the big board here inside the Khalifa International Bowling Center. And Liz Johnson, double to start. Liz Johnson, 24 of 26 in this round. She's had 2 misses, left a 4-pin, 3rd frame last game, and a 10-pin on the fill ball. All right, here are your updated standings. Liz Johnson blowing away the competition. She now has a 173-pin lead on second place. And by the way, second place is now Danielle McEwen, who has moved up with 248, 247 in this round. And she leads Shayna Ung by 10 pins. Singaporean sitting in third. Korea's Yeon Eun Hee moves back into the top 4. Korea's Young Da-woon is 5th. And she is about 40 pins outside of the cut currently. Liz with another strike. Sherry Tan 6th. Sun Hai-rin 7th. Diana Zaviolova 8th. And those 3 players starting to fall a little bit more behind the field. Danielle McEwen, front 3 now. So all of a sudden, Team USA first and second here in the Masters competition. With 5 games to be added to the standings inside the Khalifa International Bowling Center. Nice wide shot of this beautiful 40-lane center. Perhaps the best bowling center in the world for holding a tournament. Very spacious bowlers area, separate concourse for fans, bleachers that pull out across the house. It is without question the best bowling center that I have ever covered an event at in terms of the layout of the bowling center and the space that is available. They spared no expense in building this center. It is very nice. Liz Johnson, 3 in a row to start this game. And her first big mistake of the day, and she pays the ultimate price, leaving the split, the 4-7-10 split here. In the 9th frame. Well, her first open of the day, or of the block, I should say. We already bowled 6 games earlier today, so I can't say the day. But her first open of the block comes after a big run there for Liz Johnson to start round 2 of the Masters. She opened up this round throwing 25 of 27 strikes. 25 of 27 before she threw that open in the 4th frame of game 3. Sherry Tan, you can see her there in the distance. Was working on a triple, just left the 7-pin. There's Liz again. Tournament leader by a wide margin at this point, even though she's losing this game to Shayna Ung, who has the front 5. Danielle McEwen also with the front 5. Danielle McEwen trying to keep her string alive, and she gets that 10 to fall a little bit late for the front 6. So look at Jung Da-woon, Korea. She gets the strike, pulling her teammate Sun Hai-rin. Danielle McEwen now with the front 7. There's Shayna Ung. Gets the strike. She leads by 20 against Liz Johnson. Diana Savialova of Latvia. She's down on lanes 5 and 6 this game. Getting beat pretty handily by Yun Eun Hee. Looks unlikely that Diana will make the run, and starts to look at her dad. Diana made a good run to make it into the top 8. And then just not able to break through here in this second round of the Masters. I think the big story in this game is the fact that Liz Johnson has slowed down a little bit, and the fact that Danielle McEwen has the front 7. as Abu Dhabi TV has taken notice of. Shanna Ung just tossed a double at Liz Johnson, so she's up big by 31 on Liz. You can see almost all of our lanes we're using here in this round. Take a look at Danielle McEwen, who's got the front 7 right now. Make it front 8 for Danielle McEwen. Shanna Ung, another strike. She's on her way to the win here against Liz. Shanna can shoot 265 if she strikes out the 10th. Liz can only get to 234. Liz still has a chance at the 3-game record. She can go 234 this game. She'll need a double in the 10th, I believe. Danielle McEwen now front 9. She wants to join the 300 party. Already had 2 for Venezuela and 2 for Liz Johnson. So a couple things happening here in the 10th frame of Game 3. Liz Johnson needs a double and 5 to break the 3-game individual record. Danielle McEwen has a chance for a 300, and she can go 795 for her first 3 games today in this second round. Here's Liz. Another strike. 3 in a row. Needs a strike and 5. So I'm not sure if we're going to get to see Liz or not. Liz and Danielle are going to go about the same time. Looks like Danielle's going to go first. And then Liz will be up quickly after that. So here we go. Danielle McEwen, front 9. Oh, goes a little high. Trips out the 4 for the strike. Liz is up right now. See her in the distance. She goes high flush for the strike and is just 5 pins away from the 3-game individual record. A lot of excitement here in this second round. Team USA providing some fireworks. Jun He defeated Diana Zavialova 248 to 191. Sun Hairen's going to defeat Jung Da-un this game. 265 for Shayna Ung. Danielle is up right now, front 10. Got that one right. Oh, goodness me. Gets a lucky break as the 2-pin falls for the front 11. All right, Liz Johnson. She needs 5 pins for the individual 3-game record. And she gets 7, so it is still a record for her as she shoots 809 and beats the record by 3. So an 809 start for Liz Johnson. 300, 279, 231. Sorry, 278. 231. Danielle McEwen of Team USA looking to close out a 300 game here in Abu Dhabi, and she's perfect. Danielle McEwen, a 300 game, the second of the round, and Danielle McEwen 795 for her first 3 games here in round 2 of Masters competition at the 2015 World Bowling Women's Championships. Congratulations, Danielle. Another 300 today. Our second one. Game 4 coming up in just a minute. So it's been an exciting round 2 here in the Masters competition. As Liz Johnson, you see her there, bowled her second 300 of the tournament in game 1, and then her teammate Danielle McEwen with a 300 in game 3. And 8:09 start to this block for Liz Johnson, 7:95 start for Danielle McEwen.
All right, so game number 4 now underway here in match play. Got 7 games going on here. Top 8. It's all round robin. After that 8:09 series to start, Liz Johnson well out in front, 77-24. Danielle McEwen second, 84 pins back, 76-40. Shane Ung in third, 75-95. And Eunhee from Korea, 75-44. 113 pins ahead of 5th place, Jung Dwan. So, kind of cruising along here. Now we're joined by Dominican superstar, Almaguera. Welcome back.
Thank you, Matt. Lucas just left for lunch, and since I've been hanging out around in the chat for so long, he asked me to sit in and say a few things.
All right, well, we're here with just a few games left of this long and pretty exciting week so far. Just had a little bit of excitement here in game number 3. Winding down the Masters competition. We have the final coming up next, of course, and then the big victory banquet tonight where everybody gets to say their goodbyes. I believe Lucas Wiseman will be receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award or something. No, I'm just kidding.
He won't, because I thought you were completely, utterly saying the truth.
But no, this is, of course, his last day here with Bowl TV.
Yeah.
So no
Bittersweet.
doubt the conclusion of the medal round will be emotional for him, whether he admits it or not. So it's been a great run for him. Kind of started off this whole international travel Team USA bit that he did going back to 2006 even.
Yes, I remember Lucas a long way back, and like I commented on his page, when I heard he wasn't going to be doing this no more, I was so sad because at least most of my biggest achievements have his voice in the background, and you can hear the emotion in his voice. He knows most of the bowlers. He's friends with all of us. So he will be truly missed. Not that we don't like you, Matt. We like you. But Lucas was such a big part of making this global media coverage happen for bowling, and I think it really changed the sport.
Well, I totally agree, and it's been a pleasure to learn and work with Mr. Wiseman for the last 11 years now. And now we're going to bring it into the station here. I think he's going to step out for a little while, so we'll have our last couple games here. Right now on our feature pairs, we have Diana Zavialova from Latvia and Singapore left-hander Sherry Tan. And on our other pair, it is Sun and Liz Johnson. And we've got the Abu Dhabi local TV coverage going on here. So that's what you're seeing right now on Bowl TV. And they're flipping back and forth between all the matches. So we'll try to keep you updated on what's going on here. But again, Liz Johnson well out in front, followed by Danielle McEwen, Shayna Ung, and John Eun-hee from Korea.
Matt, some people on the live chat are asking if anybody's going to be replacing Lucas. And I'm thinking, Matt, you're going to be doing some of this stuff for us?
Well, I've had the opportunity over the entire 11 years, of course, to travel often with Lucas and cover some of these events. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen and what the plans are going to be. Of course, I'd like to continue doing so. I've been to the World Championships 4 times now.
Yes.
So I think I'm getting the hang of the coverage part of it. So it's nice to know the players and know how the events work and, meet everybody from around the world and see them each time. And get familiar just with how international competition goes. And, we'll see. So our next big event, I think internationally, is going to be the World Youth this summer in Lincoln, Nebraska. So we'll see. PWBA Tours coming up starting in April.
Very exciting.
We'll be at the Open and Women's Championships as well, doing some live stream coverage. Then, of course, Junior Gold in July. So we've got a very busy 6 or 7 months coming up. And, of course, Aaron Smith, also part of our team at USBC. So you'll be seeing a lot of us, I'm sure, down the road. And I'm looking forward to some new opportunities, I think.
Well, and for those of you on the chat that haven't really, everybody knows the setup, but I don't know if you catch the entire live stream. These guys are here when I get to the bowling center at 8:30 in the morning. And then I kind of leave because there's another squad coming in, and I go for lunch and I stretch my legs, but they're still here. They cover this the entire time. And it's very long days, and you're sitting on a chair and you're trying to provide a good service. So, I mean, I can't tell you how appreciated it is, how we really, really enjoy being able to follow our favorite players and for everybody to get exposure. Because in the past, I think only superstars got exposure, right? But everybody has their favorite player, and you want to see them represent, you want to see them compete. So I really hope you, Matt, and whomever comes to your team can continue to do this, and that the USBC continues to support Bowl TV.
Well, thank you very much, and thanks for all of your help over the years and your participation, of course. And right now, we've got some great matches going on.
Somebody in the live chat says, I hope Matt takes over for Lucas. So that got a big smile out of Matt right here.
Well, I've certainly been behind the scenes doing different things over the years, and in this particular event, Lucas in the spotlight, and I've been on the side writing the stories and keeping things updated for Bowl.com. So a lot of good teamwork, and appreciate all the guidance in the travel and how to be a global personality. So if I can't get it done on the lanes, certainly glad to bring it to you from behind lanes 9 through 12 here at the Khalifa International Bowling Center right now. Son for Korea on a string of strikes against Liz Johnson, and continuing to strike with a 6-bagger. Liz with a double of her own, but an open frame in the 5th. So falling behind here. Not that she has too much to worry about at this point, but it would be nice to have some momentum going in and try to hold off Danielle McEwen, who's a couple pairs to our left, not stringing strikes either. And our other featured pair, Sherry Tan, spare 4-bagger to lead Zabielova after 5 frames here.
It's really impressive to watch Liz Johnson and what she's done here. I mean, she just had the most incredible 3 days. I mean, she's incredible always, but at the World Championships with her team, bringing the goal in for Team USA yesterday, that 300 game, I mean, I got teary-eyed myself. It's really, she's one of my idols, and to watch her bowl and to be in the same stage as she is, it's just such a thrill for me, really. You should be here, guys, and watch it live. There's something in the air.
Well, in talking to Danielle McEwen as the rookie here, as they say, as much as she's accomplished, she is bowling in her first adult World Championships and already has 2 gold medals in doubles and team event, has been a solid performer, and now, again, in 2nd place behind Liz Johnson, just a couple games away from the medal round here for Masters competition. A lot of these players have kind of grown up in front of the cameras here on Bowl TV and all these international events. And there is no experience, I'm sure, like bowling for your country. I know you've been at it for a couple of years and have now had a chance to kind of expand your competitive horizons a little bit with the PWBA, and perhaps an opportunity that you never could have expected a couple of years ago.
No, when I started bowling in '96. So the PBA women's side of things was non-existent really for me as a possibility back then. And when it became a possibility, that folded. So I kind of grew up watching these ladies on TV, and I thought I was pretty good back then, but I wasn't. So there's a whole new atmosphere in women's bowling. It's very different, Matt. International bowling has a different feel for it than the PWBA does. PWBA is more business, it's very competitive. I'm not saying it's unfriendly, but like I said, it's more business-like, very serious. When you bowl for your country, there's a sense of sportsmanship and I don't know. It's like I said before, when we're bowling and we're using our bowling shoes, everybody's the same. Everybody's out there representing their flags, and we do it for the medals and the honors. So for me, it's a bit of an adjustment to compete in the PWBA. I don't think I've been all that successful, and I haven't also been able to compete in all the stops. So when you look at somebody like Liz Johnson, who's been doing it for so long and so well, it's kind of like a dream to think you could actually beat her at some point.
Well, right now we're watching a pretty good match between Sun and Liz Johnson. Sun can strike out here and actually beat Liz by a pin. So it's coming down to the last couple shots of the 10th frame here. Sun with a max score of 246. Liz can get to 245. They both got the first hit in the 10th here. So a little bit of entertainment and excitement here in our other match. Sherry Tan rolling over at Diana. Sherry has spare 7-bagger, and Diana can get to 247 if she can throw the last 6. So we'll talk in a minute, just kind of sum up the week a little bit. Once we get these matches done. Liz doubles in the 10th there. So Sun's going to have to step up here and match her shot for shot if she's going to get the 20 bonus pins.
Pretty exciting stuff, and I don't know the scoring pace, how much of a move you can make, but when you bowl with bonus pins, the bonus pins can make a huge difference. So it gives it a whole different feeling when you're going head-to-head against somebody and the match is close, as she strikes right there.
All right, so it'll come down to the fill balls here. Again, Son can get to 246, Liz 245. Son in 6th place with just a couple games left to go, but certainly a lot of pins out there right now. Sherry Tan also can make a move from 7th place. She's a little bit farther back. We'll have to update the standings for you very quickly after this game as Liz throws her final shot. And she gets 9 for 244. So Sun needs 9 pins to get the victory in the 20 bonus pins here. Her teammate Jung from Korea bowling well on the lower side here. So she's not going to pick up any ground on her. She does get the strike in the win, 246, 244. And Sherry Tan looking to continue her streak here.
These girls look really fresh. I don't know if you realize how much they've bowled. I mean, I'm looking at them. I'm sitting here. I'm tired. Meanwhile, I have a lot of emotion when I bowl, and it wasn't a good week. So by day 4, I was feeling tired. But these ladies, under pressure, they've bowled the qualifying rounds. They've bowled the finals. They're here. They bowled 6 this morning or 8 this morning. I mean, I can't believe how fresh they look.
All right, well, when you talk about it, it's really only 6 games a day, but that doesn't really tell the story. I mean, it's certainly is a mental test, as you mentioned there, and 6 games could last as many as 7 or 8 hours, like in the team event, and just physically, mentally grueling, and having to be on your feet all that time, and then doing that for day after day, certainly can take its toll.
Yeah, it was really cold here in the bowling center, so the team event was a bit of a challenge, especially for me. I come from the Caribbean, so I'm not used to this weather. So getting into a rhythm and staying sharp. I mentioned in the chat earlier, my hat is off for Diana because she was in my same situation as far as not having a team with her. So when you're bowling five-man team and it's such a slow pace and you're there on your own, the other people on your pair are, you're trying to root for them, but they're not on your team. It's a lot of work. I mean, at the end of the day, even though it's just 3 games, it took 4+ hours to bowl those 3 games. So you're worn out. And then you have to come back and try to be sharp for this part of the competition. And again, they look good.
All right, quick rundown of the matches. Looks like Jung from Korea is on 280 pace against Shayna Ung. Shayna having a tough game here. She can get to 2-0.
That's a 100-pin swing right there.
So good to see a move from Korea here as we get down to our final couple games. Danielle McEwen is just about even with John Eun-hee. Just a 4-pin advantage for McEwen going into the 10th frame. Tan will take care of Diana easily here in game number 4. And we saw our other match conclude with Sohn taking down Liz Johnson 246-244.
Really, really high scores here today. I was impressed watching from home to see that they kind of figured things out so well and just destroyed these patterns here today on the dual conditions.
Well, you guys have been in town for a while. It's been almost 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
There was unofficial practice, official practice, and then, of course, 6 games for singles, trios, doubles, and team, where you got to see these patterns a lot. And right now we're looking at the best of the best. 147 players bowled 24 games over those days. Had a lot of time to see the patterns break down and transition and figure out equipment. I think one of the advantages to international competition is you can change your surfaces in between games and freshen things up a little bit.
Yeah, that can work either way, Matt. I find sometimes I want to refresh surface because I know towards the middle of the game that's for sure going to help me, but those first couple frames are so critical. For me, I usually get in trouble. And then if I don't do it, I usually get in trouble later on the game with carries. So, tactical, these girls figure things out. That's why they're there. So they're playing the lanes perfectly, and that's why you're seeing all these big scores.
Well, again, the best of the best over the week, and now they're down to their last few games. Sherry Tan finishes with 257. Zabielova 205. So Tan will get 77 pins that game. And we'll get ready for game number 5 coming up here in just a minute. In our other matches, Danielle McEwen unable to strike in the 9th or double in the 10th. She's going to lose this match. She'll be in the 190s. And John Eun-hee will get the victory. Strike on her fill for 213.
I'm sorry, Matt. I got you working hard here. I have a bit of a cold. I think a lot of people here have a bit of a cold because it's kind of warm outside, cold in the bowling center, so some of us really paid the price here.
I'm on that list as well, 2
Yeah.
years in a row. A little bit of a challenge, things you learn over the years traveling internationally and build immunity too, but there's other things, there's challenges that people don't realize when you're on the road for so long in so many different places.
Well, I can tell you, it took me 4 days to get some sleep here. So when you travel this far, and I know some teams got in late, I cannot imagine starting competition if I didn't arrive here 3-4 days early, because it took me a long time to adjust to the time difference. And yes, a lot of people have colds. You're sleeping in a strange bed. You're eating different foods. That stuff doesn't come through on the live streaming. There's a lot of challenges to face when you compete internationally.
Well, at the same time, you get the opportunity to see some great places. Of course, Abu Dhabi's been a terrific host, not only this year for the 2015 World Bowling Women's Championships, but last year for the men as well. And I'm sure with the schedule the way it is, 6 games a day, some days a little bit shorter. I know for a lot of folks not making the medal round for singles and trios, had an entire day off. But what are some things that you enjoyed or took advantage of while you were here?
Well, I did visit the Grand Mosque, which is a beautiful place. It's just incredible to experience these cultures. This is as far as my culture, I guess, as you can get. Although Abu Dhabi is quite, I think it's a metropolis. I think they're very open. I know there's a lot of internationals here. I think there's not even 1 million locals really. And they are extremely welcoming to internationals. It's a beautiful place again, and the hosts have been so nice. I'm not staying at the official hotel, so anytime I sat outside waiting for my ride, they would come over and say, "Do you need us to take you?" And I'm like, "I don't know where I'm going, so thank you." But yes, you should. I mean, sometimes for me it's hard if I'm not performing to be happy and just take advantage of the scenery, but I've learned that you have to experience the events for its entirety. It's not just the bowling part, you know. You come out here, you do your best, you talk about it, you feel the pain for, a logical amount of time, and then you kind of move on, you know.
Well, and for some of the players, this really is the opportunity of a lifetime to come to the World Championships and represent their countries. It's something that they may not get to do again. And right now, we have 4 players we'll likely see again in the future, and we've seen often in the recent past. Danielle McEwen just shot 300 on this pair a couple games ago. Jung Dwon from Korea. We saw her bowl very well in the medal round yesterday, and she's been there for Team World Championship in 2013. And our other featured pair, Shayna Ung from Singapore, and singles gold medalist John Eun-hee. So these players fortunate that this is what they do. This is their chosen career path, and they get to bowl for a living. Others just here to enjoy the World Championships experience. And
Well, I think you can actually see, and on the whole top 24, most of the girls out there that really destroyed these lanes, this is their living. This is what they do. The Singapore team, the Korean teams, the USA girls, they're professionals. Diana, she's a professional. And, it's not the same. People say, oh, it looks like they're bowling on a house pattern. They are not, ladies and gentlemen. This stuff is hard. But when you practice 8 hours a day, 6 days a week, 5 days a week, and you do this for a living, it becomes what you do, and you are very, very good at it. So for me, I think it's incredible to be a part of it. I do basically bowl for a living, but I have to do many things. I'm not just a bowler. I coach a little bit. I have a pro shop. So I wish I had more time on the lanes, but the time on the lanes that these girls put out, it shows. It shows right there on those massive scores you see.
well, a few things people at home might not even realize. Of course, this week you guys bowled on 2 different lane conditions, a long pattern and a short pattern, 43-foot Tokyo and 36-foot Los Angeles. You had no idea what you were going to be bowling on when you left home, which is pretty neat too to realize that you have to pack your arsenal. 6 bowling balls is all you get.
Yeah.
You get to check in 6 balls, so you spend a lot of time changing surfaces and doing some different things to make those 6 balls as versatile as possible. But they don't tell you until practice what the 2 patterns are going to be, and they choose from a bank of 12 or so patterns, and you just know it's going to be short, medium, or long, and you have to be as prepared as possible with only 6 balls. You can't drill balls while you're here. That's it. You get your 6, and then how do you make those plans?
Well, you have a pool of bowling balls. You have your favorites. You always have your favorites. You know the pattern's going to be long and short. So you kind of pick 3 and 3, you know. For me, I use a plastic ball. I have to, otherwise I will not make a spare on the short pattern. So for me, it's only 5 balls. And, you know, you take your picks, and you really, really hope that you can figure the ball reaction once you get there. Even though we practice back home on every pattern, the 12 patterns, it's still not a real sort of condition, because you have to try the condition itself on the surface. And even official practice, I can tell you that, Matt, official practice was different, because once competitions start, people are making different decisions. Everybody's bowling in a certain spot, while in official practice, people are trying stuff, right? So it really comes down to what you learn throughout the first few days of the competition. And I think if we watch the scores and try to analyze that, I think once the halfway part of this was done and everybody went through their first squat on each pattern, the scores got better because the bowlers got smarter, you know? That's pretty much what it comes down to. And the people that could not figure it out, or the people that could not change their games in accordance to the ball reaction that was out there, could not make it. And I put myself in that boat.
Well, no, we talked to Kelly Kulik after winning the doubles gold medal, and their success on that short pattern really came down to what they saw earlier in the week, and a lot of it was kind of research and trying some different things as they got ready for the team event, which is the big one. That's the one that the teams really take pride in. They practice for. They want that more than anything. Everything else is kind of gravy, as they say, and working up towards that team event and just collecting information, as you mentioned, about the bowling center and how the pattern changes throughout the day. And then, of course, for Masters competition, things get really wacky.
Yeah.
And they put the long pattern on the left lane and the short pattern on the right lane. So you really have to be thinking and have all your equipment ready to go. And, you know, another interesting challenge there that you don't see in most other events.
I actually enjoy the dual conditions. I think as bowlers, sometimes we are so mad if we're bowling on a pair and suddenly the right lane hooks more than the left lane. Because, oh my God, the right lane hooks more. But it's 2 different lanes, so there might be 2 different ball reactions. And when it's dual, it's preset. You already know it's different. You have to figure your stuff out. And, you know, for me, I think it makes it easier, as long as you have decent ball reaction on both patterns. Anybody in the chat want to ask a question? Matt and I are here for you guys. Somebody mentioned earlier that it would be great to interact with the chat, but I have a feeling the chat is pretty much chatting amongst themselves. We are here for you, any questions you may have. And we are also available in Español. Buenas tardes, buenas noches, buenos días.
All right, so we are certainly a global product here at Bowl TV. You're watching live coverage of the 2015 World Bowling Women's Championships live from Abu Dhabi, and with some help from our friends at Abu Dhabi TV, bringing you some great high-def footage there of our matches right now. Danielle McEwen taking on Jung from Korea on our featured pair, and the other pair, Shane Ung and John Eun-hee from Korea.
I must say that this might be the best live stream quality that I have seen. Maybe because it's so bright in this bowling center, or maybe because the Abu Dhabi TV is here, but it's beautiful to watch.
Well, this bowling center certainly built for an event like this, the high ceilings and the bright lights. They take very good care, very clean center. Couldn't have asked for anything more from an event host. From a player perspective, any thoughts on the facility itself and your experience here this week?
Well, I was here in 1999 when they had it was the Worlds for both men and women, and it was a beautiful center then. It was basically brand new, and I can tell you that 16 years later, you walk inside and it's still a beautiful center and it looks brand new. The only thing that's changed is its surroundings. This city has grown so much. It's really impressive to watch the buildings. My host's work in construction. He's an engineer, so he's just taking us around explaining all sorts of interesting engineering facts about the crazy architecture that you see out here in Abu Dhabi. It's really great to watch.
Well, even from last year to this year, the city has grown quite a bit. And, you know, we're back seeing things a little bit different. And Now let's get a quick rundown of our standings if they're updated and available. Looks like we have 4 games. So on top, Liz Johnson, 79-68, about 131 pins over Danielle McEwen. Shayna Ung still in third for Singapore, 78.05. John Eun-hee, fourth, 77.77. That's a lucky number. And just 40 pins behind her teammate, Jung Do-won. So some possibilities here. A couple players battling for that 4th position. Sun from Korea, about another 100 back there. So anything can happen in these last couple of games. Nobody's really out of it.
Not really, and you know what? In this stage with these bowlers, if you have a bad game, meaning you can easily shoot a 180 game, that could be a game changer. Anybody can go 250 and things change. Somebody asked me on the chat what was my biggest obstacle this week on the lanes. I think getting to the pocket was not necessarily all that complex. Both distances are something that I'm very comfortable with. However, I had a bad time trying to control my back end reaction, which forced me left. And anytime you find yourself 12 and 6 left of Shayna, for example, you know you're in trouble. My entry angle to the pocket was not the right one. I could not carry very well, which led to, you go strike, spare, double, and then I try to pinch one, and it would be a split. So my scores were not up to par in this sort of field, but I did feel that, I worked my hardest. I learned every day. I improved every day. But I just could not play the lanes correctly, and I knew that. I was forced too far left.
All right, folks, for those of you just tuning in, this is Matt Canizaro alongside Almaguera from the Dominican Republic, and enjoying these last couple games of Masters match play, our featured matches right now. McEwen has opened in the 7th frame, so she will be down to Jung with 3 frames to go by 15 pins. In our other match, Shayna Ung clean through 6th, but finds herself down 8 at the halfway point.
Somebody in the chat asks, do you think Liz Johnson is the best USA woman bowler ever? You know what? That's such a hard call. How do you measure that? Should we make a list of accomplishments? I think on this team right now you have some of the best women bowlers in history. If I was to give my personal opinion, I think Liz Johnson is the toughest competitor in women's bowling. She is so matter of fact. She is so cool under pressure, and she's just so tough. She is, to me, the best ever.
Well, she's certainly proving that so far today. Started match play with 809, unofficially the highest 3-game set in tournament history, and now rolling again, bowling Diana Zavialova, 1 pair to our left. Liz with 6 out of 7 strikes here, headed for 270 again, and Diana just kind of cruising along. She can still get to the 230s. Diana 8th overall. Probably not going to make a run at the top 4 for the medal round with a couple games to go. But the rest of the players certainly in contention for that 4th spot.
Has Lucas caught the cold bug, Matt?
Lucas is immune. He's been at this for so long. He's got every germ imaginable already in him.
I thought I came with all my germs from the Dominican, but no, I'm sick too. He looks so cool sitting next to us while we cough away here.
Yeah, he spends a lot of time giving me a hard time about it, and then he throws in the fact that, back in the one day I was so sick in Malaysia and I got this, and so he leaves that part out as he makes fun of me coughing on myself for a couple days.
Yeah.
But
I looked over and he gave us that superiority look, like, yeah, you guys are so sick.
all right, so we're in the 10th frame here with McEwen and Jung from Korea. Yeah, Jung can get to the 240 still. She's still alive in this event. Another strike, first one in the 10th. She is 5th, but only 46 pins out. So we could have an exciting last game or so as they battle for that final spot. Her teammates, John Eun-hee, one pair to our left here. Not stringing strikes. Still leading Shayna Ung. But that 40 pin difference is going away very quickly here, and that can happen certainly with the big game. And Jung shot 280 last game, and now working on a 247 victory over Danielle McEwen. Add those 20 pins, and we've got some excitement brewing.
Yeah, I think the scores around the number are going to start getting a little bit closer. So that last game, and whomever gets lined up, as Shaina trips the 4, she's not exactly whacking this pair. It's going to be an interesting finish, and again, anything can happen. Everybody's still in it.
Shayna, our all events gold medalist, held off Liz Johnson. Shayna actually threw the last 4 strikes to guarantee herself at least a share of the gold medal. Liz needed to get up, deliver 3 in the 10th, and she got the first 2 and then stoned an 8 pin. It was an unbelievable shot to lose the gold medal by 1 pin. But now both players still in contention for Masters gold. That actually was the first gold medal at the World Women's Championships for Singapore. So a special moment for Shayna. As good as that team is, and as much as they've been hanging around for the last few World Championships, their first gold medal.
Yeah, when that happened yesterday was so heartbreaking because China wouldn't have lost that gold medal. They would have just shared the gold medal, and there wouldn't have been a silver. There would have been just a bronze. So for Liz to make those 3 beautiful shots and not get rewarded, it truly shows the nature of our sport. I think I heard, I don't know if it was Pete Weber that said, it's the only sport where you can make your absolute best shot and still get 9.
Well, after 24 games, for it all to come down to 1 shot and 1 pin, pretty amazing, pretty dramatic. Liz, of course, made up for that a little bit with the 300 in the team event, getting that team gold medal, which is what they came here for. And now trying to make a run at another medal to cap off a terrific World Championship. Shayna Ung trips the 4 pin again. So she is still in this match going into the 10th frame.
Shaina is really impressive to watch. I tried during the week because she was performing so well, and she has one of the highest rev rates, if not the highest rev rate here. I tried to watch her and what she did and what she can do to a bowling ball and the way she can make it read and stop at the pocket, trip those 4 pins. It's really something to watch, really. I can't do that.
Our other match over. It's Jung over McEwen, 244-212. So that 40 pin difference between John and Jung is almost gone at this point.
It's going to make for an interesting last game. With the 20 pin bonus and 30-40 pins difference, anything can happen. That 4th spot is really up for grabs. Somebody asked why some of the Singapore players are not stringing strikes as much as the Americans. I don't know. I think, you have to figure your ball reaction, and some of these girls really strong strikes at points. Sherry is a lefty, so I'm not sure what's going on that side, really. But Singapore with China, like I said before, she probably has the highest ref rate in the building. I'm sure she sees variables out there, especially now that the lanes have broken down a touch and the oil has gone down the lane a little bit. I'm sure she can see some things that maybe the other girls can't see. So I think, I think she will be okay. She's a very good bowler. I faced China at the 2012 World Cup in Poland. I was going for 3 in a row, and this girl really made me cry, and she made me cry on TV. So she can bowl. I'm telling you, it's really impressive to watch. And the Singaporeans have such a work ethic. They bowl for a living. They are Singapore's athletes of the year. That team. I follow them. I understand their model. I wish something like that could happen in Latin America. I don't know if our economics would let us achieve something like that. And you know, like I said, it's all about striking. These girls are good enough to hit the pocket every time, but if you can't get the carry, you will not compete.
Well, Shayna did not get the carry that game as she falls to John Eun-hee, 214-206. But Jung will go around John with 2 games to go. In our other match, Liz Johnson, 248 over Diana Zabialova, 248-204. We'll have the updated standings for you momentarily as we get ready for game number 6. Players on the move. And as we wait for them, Ami, tell us a little bit about what's up next for you after getting home from the World Championships.
Well, you know, I did not do well here, so of course my coach is saying we need to revamp my entire game. That's always exciting. I have a few months of practice before I compete again. Not very sure of my schedule. I know the PWBA schedule has already been posted. Not sure how many events I will be able to compete in. I will for sure get my PWBA card again, even if I do not attend one tournament. I believe in women's bowling. I believe that I should support it. And I also work at a pro shop back home. It's really helped out a lot of the young kids that are starting to bowl now. Bowling is not a cheap sport. We all know bowling balls are not exactly cheap. So the Dominican Republic is not a rich country. So I try to do my best to help out the youngsters and set them up with equipment that fits right, and that makes a huge difference as to how they learn how to bowl. It's hard to coach and teach people to bowl when their bowls don't fit. So that's a lot of what I do. My coach Craig Woodhouse and I will probably be doing some things with the youth there. We're trying to develop the young. Our team, our talent is getting a little bit old. I'm getting a little bit old, so we're hoping that very soon we can have youngsters that can compete regionally and eventually dream of coming to a world championship and representing our flag in a very good way. So a good year for me next year. This is what I do. I love bowling. I love to promote the sport. I think especially for girls, it's such a nice environment. It creates so many opportunities, especially with college bowling. I try to help the Latin American world and the Latin American talent understand the many opportunities they can find in the U.S. in the collegiate programs. So, you know, I'm going to keep working hard. Hopefully I can make those changes in my game that will help me not get in so much trouble. I feel like I'm a roller coaster sort of bowler out there. I can be so good, but I can be so bad at the same time. But I'm always fun, man.
Well, we've got a few youngsters on our featured pairs here. Danielle McEwen still staying in front of the cameras. She starts with a split. She's taking on Son Hairin from Korea. In our other match, Shayna Ung and Diana Zabialova. And we talk a lot about the international representation on the PWBA tour and in college bowling these days. And a lot of these players we'll see at other places. Just amazing to be at an event like this and see the talent around the world. And some people say these aren't even the best players from some of the countries too. They have a lot of events going on, different things. Very active in Asia especially. So they have a very deep team where they're able to take world championship quality players to each event and have just so many of them.
Well, you know, bowling in Asia is very big. They take it very seriously. It's considered one of the top sports out there. I had the opportunity to compete in Malaysia a few years back, and I was so impressed with the amount of respect that we got as bowlers. It's different for me in the Dominican Republic. Bowling is considered a non-traditional sport, so even though I've had some success, that success is is considered non-traditional. So for me to be in a country where our sport is so respected, so highly seen, it was incredible. And I think you watch Korea, you watch Singapore. These girls compete all year. They have competitions, high-level competitions all the time, and they have a program back home that allows them to just be shot makers. You know, these girls rarely miss.
All right, folks, you're watching continued coverage of the 2015 World Bowling Women's Championships here in Abu Dhabi. This is Matt Canizawa and Omagera. And we've got just 2 games left before we get ready for the medal round here. Standings through 5 games of match play. Liz Johnson leading by almost 200 over her teammate Danielle McEwen in second. About 38 pins behind McEwen now is John Eun-hee from Korea. So tight there.
This stuff got tight, guys. I'm so excited.
Shane Ung tied with John Eun-hee. So those two just ahead of Jung from Korea.
Just
Sherry
16
Tan.
pins.
Sherry Tan about another 100 back. So 5 players right now battling really for 4 spots in the medal round. It's almost time to get the calculator out and start getting ready. And at this point, a big game here, and Jung could even go from 5th to 2nd.
This got really tight all of a sudden, and with the 20-pin bonus, like I said, it's going to be very interesting finish here. Somebody says anybody can get a decent RPM rate. You just have to have a decent release. Well, you know, when you're a girl and the ball's 15 pounds, trust me, it's not that easy. You have to have very good technique to create a higher RPM than 300, 350. It's not that prevalent to see high ref girl players. And it feels almost like, what's the point? Women are so intelligent on the lanes. They break the lanes down in such a way where sometimes power is not even necessary, I think.
Well, we've seen so many different styles this week here at the World Championships, and different players finding success. Of course, the versatility to be able to attack the different conditions. In this case, 2 different conditions at once. Left lane is the 43-foot Tokyo pattern, right lane 36-foot Los Angeles, and that has to be a mental test in itself, I would think.
Yeah, you know, when you go back and forth, and you know, especially if you're having to throw a certain sort of style on one pattern and a certain sort of style on the other pattern, you really have to change your game from shot to shot, and not only your game but also your targeting. It can be a bit of a challenge, you know. And if you can't hit one pattern and you can hit the other pattern, you're not even looking at 200. So. Well, like I said, on you bowl with women, I had the opportunity to bowl some men tournaments in the PBA, and the breakdowns, believe me guys, the breakdown is so different. It almost feels like the girls make me move to the right and the boys make me move to the left. So if I had my choice, I think I'd rather bowl with the boys sometimes. But again, I think for the most part, women are so much more accurate. And they are, because they need to be. They cannot generate so much area because of the lower rev rates. So if everybody or the majority of the women are straighter, that means somebody like Shaina will probably have to bowl down and get with the crowd. You know, you'll have to move right and you have to bowl with the rest of them. You really cannot be more left than 4 boards than everybody else. And for me, that's what happened. I had the opportunity to bowl with Diana the entire tournament, and I would tell her, oh, I think this lane's drier, and she just doesn't see it because her roll is so smooth. And I got in all sorts of trouble, not necessarily because of my execution, but because of my roll. And that kind of thing makes you think, you know, do you want to be a power player and look cool but not compete, or do you want to compete and score with the best in the world? So that's what's coming up for me next year. I've always been a bit of an awkward bowler, and I've had to work really hard to achieve what I have, but I think some changes are coming my way, you know.
All right, we're getting to the halfway point here of our 6th match. One more game to go after this, and then we'll know our top 4 for the medal round. Shayna Ung with the double. She's got 4 out of 5, leading Diana Zavialova. Diana with an open in the 2nd frame. And a pair of spares working now. Our other match, Son Hairin taking on Danielle McEwen with an open, but 3 strikes out of 5 frames. They are even at the halfway point.
Somebody says accuracy way more important than revs. I believe that the true definition of a great bowler should include not only accuracy but also power. However, brute power without accuracy in this sort of sport conditions does not work. You need to repeat shots, and you need to make good shots, and you need to make your ball read at the correct time. So I think that's why you see the norm is for women to be less of more so accurate than power players. You just have to be. Everybody gets their sort of bone, as they say, from time to time. But in order to compete at this level on dual conditions, you have to have everything, you know? And again, there's a lot of high rev rates out here. I mean, most of them are not bowling right now, but I saw a lot of girls that are beginning to include the power into their games. And if you can just have both and be able to make your ball read at the right spots, you're in.
Shayna Ung stepping up on lane 12. That's the short pattern. Looking for 3 in a row here and 5 out of 6. She's just trying to hang on at this point to a spot in the top 4.
And she is impressive to watch. I think Shayna must be close to 400 RPMs. I don't know of any girl right now that I mean, I know a lot of power players, but she by far is one of the most powerful bowlers I've seen in a long time, and with such a heavy roll that just makes the ball read at the right time.
McEwen unable to get the 10 to go. She was working on 3 in a row, trying to stay ahead of Sun from Korea here and maintain her spot. She's in 2nd place right now, but only 38 pins ahead of the tie for 3rd. Looks at this point like Shayna is going to cruise in here against Diana, so she needs to get what she can at this point. 20 bonus pins certainly going to help.
Somebody asked an interesting question on the chat. They say, if the lanes are dry, is it legal to apply oil onto your ball before release? I don't think it's legal to apply anything during the game, but there's tricks you can use, and I actually have done this. If you watch me bowl in the short pattern with my urethane ball, I take a long time wiping all that oil from my ball so it doesn't do goofy stuff on me. But since the long pattern was a little bit dry for me, I just did not wipe my ball. So that little string of oil that's left on the ball kind of helped me out a little bit with the front part of the lane not hooking early.
All right, down on the low side, lanes 5 and 6. Liz Johnson with a 10-pin lead over Jung from Korea. If you want to follow along with the live scoring as we get down to the exciting finish here, you can visit worldbowling.org, find the World Women's Tournament page, and you'll see the Merrick scoring. can also find the standings on there so you can see what's happening with 1 game to go.
Somebody asked what the average age of the bowlers here is. Be nice to have some sort of a program that can figure that one out. They say bowling is the sport of a lifetime. We saw very young people here. I actually had the pleasure of bowling with the girl from Slovakia. Her name's Christina. She's so cute. She's 17 years old. She was so excited to participate in her first World Championships. And you also see some ladies that you know have been around for a long time, probably have grandkids that are bowlers.
So Shayna gives that 7-10 a run. She's up 31. With 3 frames to go. And McEwen looks like she's going to be down 1 pin after 8 frames here if both players spare here in the 8th. Johnson will defeat Jung from Korea. She's going to be in the 250s. So she easily will cruise into the #1 spot for the medal round in this semifinals. We'll have again left lane long, right lane short. There won't be any choosing to do. Everybody go out there and attack it as they have all morning long. All of the finals so far have been on lanes 9 and 10. Liz likes that pair quite a bit. She's bowled 300 there twice.
Yeah, she loves that pair, doesn't she? I didn't have much fun on lane 10, let me tell you. It looked like that lane hanged a bit for me. Gotten kind of quiet here as some people are really don't have a shot at the finals, and I think they're top 4 considering China is looking pretty good right now. It can be a fight between Korea.
Well, Jung just finished with 216 in the loss to Liz Johnson. She's not going to make up much ground there. She was 17 pins behind Shayna coming in here. Shayna's looking at some bonus pins here as well. Our feature match here, Sun and McEwen. Sun is up 1 pin going into the 10th frame now. And these bonus pins going to be very important for McEwen to maintain. Not a very high scoring match between Sherry Tan and John Eun-hee. And a single pin miss, very uncharacteristic. So now we have ourselves a match here, Ami. Diana with the strike in the 9th can get to 204. That could force Shayna to have to throw a double now. So all of a sudden, 2 open frames. And I spoke a little bit too soon about Shayna cruising here. You never can do that, I suppose.
Well, and if Diana strikes out, she'd be at 204. So that means Shayna would need a double on the 10th to get the 20-pin bonus.
Diana gets the first one. That shows you the importance of staying clean. So here's Shayna up looking for the first one in the 10th, and she leaves another 7-10. So all of a sudden, the likelihood of making this not very high. And what looked like an easy win after 6 frames.
Somebody on the chat wants to know which ball Shayna, the blue ball Shayna, is throwing. I am not sure. However, if you go to the worldbowling.org site, there is a list of our equipment there. You just have to punch in Shayna's name. She's easy to find. She was right at the top, and that will give you a listing of all her bowling balls. I am not familiar with that ball, but I do know that Asia sometimes has different equipment bowling balls than we do on our side of the world. So if that helps, I'm sorry.
Shayna, 2 7-10s and a missed single pin. She finishes with 192, and never counting anybody out, especially Diana. She'll come away with the win here. She'll be in the 200s now. In their other match, Danielle McEwen has fallen to Sun Higher In, 228-207. Just doing the quick math here as our matches wrap up. We're definitely going to see some movement in our top 5 now.
There's movement. Somebody asked on the chat, how come we're seeing so many single pins missed amongst the top players in the world? You know what? I mentioned earlier, it's been a long day. There's been a lot of games bowled. I think for the people that are pretty much out of it, there's not a shot for them to get into the top 4. I think your intensity level may drop a little bit. Shooting spares is just about hitting your target. You'd be surprised how much room you have to make a spare. Just grab a pin and put 2 bowling balls on each side of it, and that should give you an idea as to how much room you have to make those. But you still have to hit your target, and you still have to execute. So I think some of these girls are feeling the pain. I'm sure there's some ripped thumbs out there. It's pretty dry here in Abu Dhabi. I know I ripped my entire hand before I even started bowling. So, you know, we're all human here, and it's still a mental grind. And once you're mentally tired, you can make mistakes. Thank you very much for the person saying that I should be on the PBA telecasts here in the USA. Maybe I'd do better that way than bowling. And I can do this in Espanol too.
All right, so we get ready for our final game of match play here coming up, doing some quick calculations, and we did certainly have some movement.
Matt, you're a lefty. I did not know this.
I am left-handed. Sometimes an advantage, sometimes not so much. We'll wait for the official standings here momentarily, but it certainly is going to be an exciting final game here.
Somebody asked if I could tell them how to strengthen their mental game. I'm not sure I'm the correct person to ask this. I am a bit of an emotional sort of player out there. Like I said before, it can be good, it can be bad, but I'm a bit of a roller coaster. I think you have to make sure that your dialogue inside your head is positive. Some of us can be really rough on ourselves or very insecure. If you watch the best bowlers in the world, you can see that they are very calm most of the time, and they make mistakes and they tend to move on. When you look at people that are not as good, usually when there's a bad frame, there's a couple more bad frames afterwards. It takes us a while to get over the mistakes. And again, every person's different. Everybody has to deal with this differently. I watched and read a book that really helped me out, which is called The Way of the Peaceful Warrior. I think there's a lot of good lessons in there. And again, I am personally a work in progress. I've had to understand a lot about myself and how I am, and make sure that the negatives stay in the closet, in the drawer, and I only let out the positives. But I still struggle all the time with my mental game. It's something that you always have to work at.
All right, we've got updated standings now with 1 game to go. Liz Johnson, 255 pins out in front. She is most definitely going to be your top seed for the medal round. After that, it gets pretty close. 82.56 for Danielle McEwen, 82.11. So 45 pins there between second and third place. Fourth place is Jeon Eun-hee from Korea, 82.09. So 2 pins behind her teammate Jung. And then in fifth place, Shayna Ung at 82.03. So Shayna only 8 pins out of third place with 1 game to go. And then Son from Korea is pretty far back, but nothing's impossible, but not likely at this point. So we're looking at a 5-player race for 4 spots in the medal round.
And these scores show you how bowling can be. I mean, you watch somebody like Shayna, I think she led the all events, she beat Liz by a pin, and suddenly after a bad game, 7-10 in the 10th frame before, she's completely out of the top 4. And we're heading, this is the last game, right? So it's do or die for Shayna right now. And it's all very, very close. Only 53 separating Danielle McEwen on second place from Shayna on fifth place.
Well, our feature matches right now, again, Jeon Eun-hee, our singles gold medalist, taking on Liz Johnson here. And Eun-hee is 4th, but only 6 pins ahead of Shayna Ung, who is 5th. Our other match is Jung and Sherry Tan. Tan out of it pretty much at this point. Jung is 3rd right now, so trying to hold on to her spot.
Well, and Shayna is facing somebody that started out with a double, and she went 9 spare through the face for 8. So you know she's feeling it. You know she's not exactly relaxed right now. She has to produce, and it has to happen right now.
Well, Alma, you've been at the top of the standings. You've got the World Cup titles, of course. You know, at this point, do you know what's going on? Does your coach fill you in? Are you watching the numbers, or are you somebody that prefers not to know and you just bowl your game? And
you know what? When I bowl, I'm not usually watching the scores. I have a very mathematical brain, so it kind of, it kind of can get me in trouble. I do know what's going on. I know what the number I need is. I tend not to watch my competitors. I am a big fan of bowling. So, if you throw a good shot, I'm right there. Hey, man, good shot. So I tend to bowl against the score machine, basically. I think for a lot of the youngsters, they don't like to look at it. I think it puts more pressure on them. But I do. I need to know what's going on, because you can either go with me, because I get in a lot of trouble. I can either be bowling defense or I can be bowling offense. If I need to shoot a 250, I can't really bowl defense, right? So I always watch the score. I just, during qualifying and the normal game part, I tend not to. And again, because I'm a fan of bowling and I don't have that killer instinct, it's not a contact sport, I tend not to look at my competitors, because I can become a fan in the midst of a match. It's crazy.
a lot of bowling fans here this week in Abu Dhabi. Zayed Sports City's Khalifa International Bowling Center. Packed house last night for the team finals. Nice crowd on hand here today on what is their Monday. Here weekends in Abu Dhabi are Friday, Saturday.
That's so weird, right?
Right, a little bit. So today being Sunday, everybody's back to work, but still a nice crowd, and some more expected for the finals here coming up shortly after our final game of match play. So don't disappear if you want to see who gets the Masters gold medal. Right now, Liz Johnson well out in front, but after all these games, all pins will drop. That's it. It'll be 1-game matches in our medal round. So first and fourth will take each other on. Second and third will battle. The 2 winners will bowl for the gold medal. We just saw Shayna a couple pairs to our left miss another single pin. So she is down. She has yet to strike here in this final game. She's down to Sun for Korea.
And you know, those 10 pins sometimes when you're under pressure, they get so small and the lane becomes 120 feet instead of 60, you know. It's so easy in practice. But when you're squeezing, man, or when you have to produce, it's not so easy. And I feel for Shaina. She's bowled so well. She's facing a very tough competitor, and she needs a good game.
Here in our featured pair, Liz Johnson starts with the front 5. And John Eun-hee, she is staying in the match, all she can do. She has spare 4-bagger, so she needs every single strike she can get as well. Shayna falling behind. Eun-hee right now in 4th. Again, 6 pins ahead of Shayna Eung.
Well, this is right in front of the live stream booth, and she kind of stood there and turned back and gave us a little smile. I think that transmitted a lot of confidence right there.
Danielle McEwen on the far pair, taking on Diana Zabialova. Diana with the front 4. And Danielle with just 1 strike here early in this final game.
It
Danielle.
suddenly got loud here. You feel that, right, man?
Certainly. A big group of supporters for Korea and for Singapore here. Both teams made every medal round so far and have had a lot of success here, and they're going to cheer and fight till the very end.
Well, you know, it's crunch time. My coach kept saying to me, what's the difference if you're 58th or 48th? You know, I said, well, I'm still representing my flag and my country, and I still want to do the best I can. So, you know, even Diana, who's 8th, she's still pushing to get the best spot she can get for her country and for herself.
Liz Johnson there with the 5 count on the front 5. And now she finds herself about to fall behind to John Eun-hee. Not going to matter too much for Liz, but a very important match here for John. Shayna finds a way to double in her match against Sun.
A must for Shayna.
And Jung with 5 out of 6 here against Sherry Tan, the left-hander. And what you hear there is the Koreans cheering for their teammate.
It's crunch time right now, and stuff just got very intense around here.
Sherry Tan with that strike, she is down 10 halfway through this final game.
Somebody asked me if I have bowled with Shalin Zulkifli from Malaysia. Of course I have. Shalin, one of the biggest stars Malaysia ever saw. She kind of exploded bowling in that country. I believe she is now happily married and a mother of a beautiful, beautiful, hopefully cranker little girl.
Amazing shot there by Eun-hee for the 7-bagger now. Trying to solidify her place in the medal round once again. A lot of strikes being thrown in this final game. The players handling that pressure very well.
Stepping it up right now.
Most of them. Shayna continuing to struggle. She leaves a big 4 down on lane 8. Quickly finding her way farther away from the next round.
And again, I think rev rate, when you have big rev rates and you don't have the right look and you start moving around, it's easy to get in trouble. As good as Shayna is, as you can see there, she just doesn't have the right look.
All right, with Danielle McEwen not having a great look here in the final game, she could certainly drop all the way to 4th place. Would have to take on her teammate, Liz Johnson. Of course, something never want. I mean, if you want to battle, it's going to be for the gold medal.
Yeah.
Danielle looks like she's down about 35 to Diana. Diana opened in the 6th frame.
I can't believe it got so close. It looked like it was so defined when I got to the bowling center, and now everything is so close. Anything can happen.
Diana strikes again. She's got 6 out of 7. Really putting the pressure on. Eun-hee can't get the 10 to go this time. She's up 38 over Liz Johnson here. In our other match, Sherry Tan, the left-hander, has been stellar all week long, and now she miscues there in the 8th frame when the match was about to go in her favor. What's happening? All of a sudden, we saw strings of strikes, and now everybody's throwing a split.
And it looks like the same split all around. Last few frames coming up here in the Masters competition at the Women's World Championships, and it's tense.
Danielle McEwen came into this game only 45 pins ahead of Jung and 47 pins ahead of John from Korea. And Eun-hee will go around. She is making some noise here in the final game. Abu Dhabi TV focused on her performance here as the 10th frame gets underway. She will defeat Liz Johnson here, pick up the 20 bonus pins, very important.
There was a time on this competition where Liz Johnson led by 11 pins only, and if you look at the scoreboard, it's incredible what she's done.
In my time at USBC, I've had the opportunity to see Liz do that a lot. She had some big wins this year on the PWBA Tour. Of course, the USBC Queens to start things off, and the US Women's Open at the end of the season there. Big winner, big year for her on the way to Player of the Year honors, and looking to add one more gold medal to the trophy case for 2015.
I had the honor of facing Liz at the Pan American Games this year in Toronto. We faced off to try and advance to the gold medal match, and I was just so excited to be bowling against basically one of my idols, and I was fortunate enough to advance to the gold medal match against Shannon Pluhowski, who eventually ended up getting the gold. But this is one of my highlights in life, to be able to beat Liz for that when she had such an incredible year.
Liz finishes with 194. Not going to matter too much for her. She'll be our top seed. But Jeon Eun-hee going to be in the 260s, and she is going to jump up from 4th place without a doubt. Danielle McEwen still down to Diana on the far side here. Going to do the quick math for you.
Matt does the math. Somebody's asking me about lowering your rev rate. Is it possible? I don't think you can be as versatile as being able to be a high rev player and also throw it straight. You can try and change your roll, your tilt, in order to control your backhand reaction. But I think if you are a high rev player, there's only a range that you can really have. And also, you must bowl like your personality. I've tried to be straighter, and it's really not worked out for me. I feel like a lion in a cage, let's put it that way. So I'd rather work on my roll than anything else. As Matt, do you want a calculator? It's right there. Okay.
Absolutely. We've got a lot of numbers going on here. Big scores around us. Shayna Ung not going to win her match, but Son going to be in the 260s potentially as well. Our other featured match here, Sherry Tan and Jung from Korea. A nail biter.
I can't figure this out.
And Jung can get to the 240s, 246 with a strike here. Coming into this match again, Danielle McEwen 45 pins ahead of Jung, 47 pins ahead of John Eun-hee. And Shayna not figuring to be a factor here with the final frames.
Yeah, she can only get to 188 if she strikes out. There's not going to be a way mathematically that she can get in anymore.
Looks like it's going to be Liz Johnson, John Eun-hee, Jung Duan, and Danielle McEwen potentially will be our fourth. So
It's fitting. Korea, Korea, USA, USA. They've dominated the entire event, and the Masters finals and semis are gonna portray that.
well, and unfortunately for them, they'll have to take on their teammates.
Really, they'll face each other off.
It'll be number 1 versus number 4, and with the initial calculations here, it'll be Liz and Danielle, and then Jung and John.
Well, that ensures that it's not gonna be a USA, USA or Korea, Korea final at least, I guess. It's gonna be a matter of who advances.
Our final shots coming up here. Sherry Tan will fall to Jung. Jung at 245. Sherry can get to 235 with a strike here.
Diana pulled off a couple of upsets there towards the end, so if you think these girls aren't trying their best,
So we'll get you the final unofficial calculations here as we wind down our last couple shots, and then we'll take a short break and then come back to you. In about 30 minutes for the medal round.
well, as Matt calculates, I'm gonna say thank you, Lucas, for allowing me to sit on your last stream. It's always a pleasure to kind of watch the bowling and talk to the fans on the live streaming. I hope me and Matt sit together again. I think we had fun, and I just want to say, shake Lucas' hand. You can't see it. Say thank you for the years and the good stuff. Like I said to him before, my greatest bowling achievements have this. Oh my goodness, Lucas. I'll do it too then. He just used hand conditioner as sanitizer after I shook his hand. And I'm trying to be nice here. My greatest bowling achievements have the voice of Lucas Wiseman as its soundtrack. So I just wanted to come over and sit down and say it live. I think what he's done for the sport is really amazing. He really started this live stream coverage, and now everybody can enjoy it and know what's going on. So thank you, Lucas. Thank you, Matt. Are you still calculating?
Still, we're about correct here on everything. It looks like it's going to be Liz Johnson number 1, John Eun-hee number 2. Number 3 will be Jung Duan from Korea, and Danielle McEwen falling to 4th that game. So it'll be Liz and Danielle, and then the 2 Koreans, John and Jung, and they'll do battle. Losers will earn bronze. Winners advance to the gold medal match. We'll have that coming up for you in about 30 minutes here on Bowl TV. We do appreciate everybody joining us for this continued coverage of the 2015 World Bowling Women's Championships. This is Matt Canizaro and Alma Guerra. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you soon for the medal round coming right up.
Hasta luego.
Third, Yoon Da-woon, Korea, 8-4-76. And the fourth semifinalist, Daniel McEwen, United States, 8-4-4-2. Fifth was Son Hye-rin from Korea. Sixth, Shania Ng from Singapore. Seventh, Sherry Tan from Singapore. And eighth, Diana Zavyalova from Latvia. The first semi-final match on lanes 7 and 8 is between Liz Johnson and Daniel McEwen, and the second semi-final match on 11 and 12 will be between Jeon Eun-hee and Yoon Da-woon. And the warm-up will start 2:55.